You know that moment of sheer panic in a boardroom?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're 5 minutes into your presentation time, sweating, staring at, like, a nest of mismatched cables, and just desperately clicking a plastic projector remote that looks like it's straight out of 1998.
It is the universal presenter's nightmare. But then, you walk into a modern conference room or maybe a massive sports bar with 20 screens and everything just works.
Right. No panic, no fumbling for remotes.
Mm.
So today we're doing a deep dive into the spec sheets for two heavy hitters in professional AV. We're looking at the Intelix AS-1H1V auto switcher and Wolfpack fixed matrix switchers. Our mission here is to decode that hidden infrastructure that basically saves you from everyday tech headaches.
It's an invisible ecosystem running right under our tables.
Well, let's start there, actually, under the boardroom table with the Intelix AS-1H1V. Now, it takes modern HDMI inputs, but also legacy VGA inputs. And the wild thing is, it doesn't just pass that old VGA signal through. It actively scales it to a 1920 by 1200 resolution.
Which honestly is doing a ton of computational heavy lifting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's acting like a live translator. It's reading the continuous analog wave of the old VGA signal and converting it into precise digital pixels on the fly.
Oh, wow. So it's basically repainting the old signal so it looks brand new.
Exactly. And once it translates that signal, it needs to send it to a projector that might be up to 70 meters away. But it doesn't use a massive, thick video cable for that. It actually uses HDBaseT over a standard Cat5e network cable.
Wait, hold on. Cat5e is just like a basic internet cable. How do you cram an uncompressed, high-definition video signal down a wire meant for web traffic?
So HDBaseT essentially takes that massive video data and meticulously packetizes it. It chops the video up into micro chunks.
Okay.
And those chunks squeeze through those twisted copper pairs at lightning speed and then reassemble the picture perfectly at the projector.
Right, that explains the video transit. But the spec sheet highlights last-in auto switching and RS-232 display control, meaning I just plug my laptop in and the whole room wakes up. How does the table actually know I'm ready to present? It comes down to a really tiny physical mechanism. When you plug in an HDMI cable, there's a specific pin carrying 5 volts of electricity.
Like a hot plug detect.
Yes, exactly. The Intelix senses that voltage spike, so it knows a new device is live, switches to that input, and then fires a command over RS-232 to turn the projector on.
Wait, RS-232, isn't that a serial communication protocol from the 1960s?
It is, and that's the great irony of modern AV. You have this cutting-edge 4K digital video routing, but the actual command that tells the expensive display to wake up is relying on a rock-solid text-based protocol older than the moon landing.
That is wild. Okay, so that's how we conquer a single room. But scaling that up to control an entire building is a totally different beast. If you're running a sports car, you aren't just sending one signal to a projector. You're dealing with Wolfpack fixed matrix switchers.
Right, because a standard splitter just takes one football game and duplicates it to every TV.
Yeah.
But a matrix switcher, like an 8x8 or 16x16 model, can route any independent source to any specific display simultaneously.
So it's less like a megaphone broadcasting one message and more like an old-school telephone switchboard. The operator can physically patch caller A to house 4 and caller B to house 7 all at the exact same time without crossing the streams.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. And you control those patches through physical front panel buttons or over TCP/IP.
Which just means sending those routing commands over the building's standard local computer network, right?
Right, exactly.
Here's where I hit a wall with the Wolfpack documentation, though. They make these modular switchers with swappable cards. If I can buy a chassis and just swap out inputs as technology changes, buying a fixed 16x16 matrix seems like a terrible idea. You're guaranteeing your expensive gear becomes obsolete the second you need a 17th screen.
Well, you're assuming infinite physical expansion. Think about the actual architecture of a neighborhood sports bar.
Okay.
If the physical walls only have square footage for exactly 16 televisions, they are never going to hang a 17th.
I mean, they could knock out a wall.
In the real world of commercial leases, they won't. For a rigidly defined physical space, a fixed unit gives you plug-and-play matrix routing at a fraction of the cost. You aren't paying a premium for an expandable modular chassis you will literally never have the wall space to use.
That is brutal pragmatism. The drywall dictates the tech specs. So the next time you see 16 different games mapped perfectly to 16 screens, or a boardroom projector that just wakes up the second that 5-volt pin hits, you'll understand the physical mechanics making it happen.
Yeah, it's continuous translation and 1960s code working behind the scenes. It basically turns the physical room into something that reacts to human behavior rather than forcing you to figure out the room.
Which leads to a wild thought. If these hidden devices are already tracking our localized physical inputs, using a 5-volt spike to trigger environmental changes like waking up screens and dropping power states.
Right.
How long until smart buildings use this hidden signal data on a macro scale? Imagine an office building that tracks where active video signals are happening to entirely anticipate and alter HVAC, lighting, and power distribution before you even realize you need it. Something to chew on next time you plug